open the Revit and we need to create a new Revit model. So we will click on the new. And if you remember, we don't use Imperial Multidiscipline. We go in Browse and use default template that's simpler for interior designers. Make sure create new, it's project, not project template is selected, and say okay. Now, once the Revit file is open, before we do anything, you can go in Files and save this as a project. And you need to save in the right folder. So you will find FCS 216 folder and save as your last name, floor plan creation, and FCS 216. Save. Okay, the next step is you need to check what is the scale we need to use in this project. So now if you see the scale, it is 1/4 or a quarter in scale. So I will go back in Revit here and I will make sure I will change the scale at here at the bottom, 1/4 inch. Okay, and now you see the elevation marks has become smaller because we changed the scale. Now we need to add a sheet before we do anything because we are not sure where it will be and how big it will be. So it's better to add a sheet and put your view on the sheet. So now to add a sheet is just you need to go into your project browser and right click on the sheets. Okay, you need to click on a new sheet and find the title block where you have saved it. I will go where I have saved my title block. And I will say open. Make sure it is blue and selected. I will say okay. My title block is here. Now you can change your owner name to your name. Project name is floor plan creation. Unnamed, that is the sheet name. And if you notice here, what's the sheet name says first floor plan. Okay, and sheet number is A1. So make sure you do all that changes. Project number will be FCS 216. I'm not going to change everything in here, but you need to make sure you do it everything and use capital letters so it will look much cleaner. So everything should be in the capital letters on your sheet. Okay, now I will just make sure you do that changes. Now I will just go in your floor plan and drag the floor plan or the level 1 floor plan on the sheet here. Okay, we have done this when we did the wall exercise. So we need to now, if you remember, we need to hide this title block and crop this view. So what we need to do, I will just go and click on that viewport so I can see in the properties that's the viewport is selected. If your viewport is not selected, you will see sheet in your properties. So you need to just click on the viewport and make sure viewport is selected in your properties and go in edit type. And wherever you have a show title, there is yes. You just need to click on that yes, and then this arrow will appear. You need to click on that arrow. You need to click when multiple viewport is used. So when you have a show title, you need to select when multiple viewport is used and say apply and okay. Now that title is gone. Now we need to crop this. So make sure you're still in the viewport. You need to go in that properties, go all the way down until you find the extents. Check the crop view, check the crop region view and annotation crop so we can able to crop this viewport. Okay, once you're done, you just need to double click on your viewport so that you will get a double line. One is a darker and one is a dash line if you zoom in there. So that means that viewport is ready to crop. Now to get crop, exactly how you will crop, you need to click one more time on it until you get this blue dots. You don't have to click multiple times. You need to be patient and just click once. And when you crop, pull that all the way to the inside of your viewport. Even the dash blue line, you need to pull that all the way inside. Use that blue dots to pull that all the way inside. Make sure you pull that above your text. So whatever is in there, it will not come in between in your text. So make sure everything is inside. Okay. Now we need to go in level 1. Now, if you notice here, this box comes there as well on your level 1 floor plan. So what does that mean? You need to draw inside that box so it will seen on the sheet. If you draw somewhere outside, Revit give you the command that whatever you have drawn is not visible in the view. Okay, so now we will go on page 24, 23, 24, and there is like you need to draw a simple rectangle of 30 by 24. Okay, so that's how we have done that in wall exercise. We will repeat that. So what you need to do, you will go in architecture tab, walls, and make sure you line is selected. And I will start somewhere around in here. And if you remember, that's 24 is just came right away, but you can just type in 24. What is the width? It's 30. Enter or space bar. And then Revit gives you the command you want to align with the first wall, and you will align and you will able to draw the wall. I'll just keep the way it is. If I have to move, I will just move that a bit on my right side so it will be centrally placed. I'll need more space here because we need to add north and a graphic scale here. Okay, now if you go on page 30, when you go on page 30, there are a couple of commands that you need to change something so you can able to add doors and windows the way you add it. Okay, so it's like you need to do some changes in temporary dimensions. If you go on page 30, it shows how you can change the temporary dimensions setting in there. Okay, so what are these temporary dimensions setting? You need to go in manage. Let me just go in the manage. And there is additional setting here. If you see on the top ribbon, you need to click on that You need to click on that drop down arrow and you need to go in annotation. And there is a temporary dimensions. I'm just following the book steps. So you need to annotation, go temporary dimensions. Then this pop-out box comes in front of you. If you see here, the walls dimensions comes from center line, but we need to make sure we get the dimensions from the faces so we can able to add doors and windows from the faces. As you see in this floor plan, the dimensions are given from the faces of the wall, not from the center. First, we draw how we draw the rectangle. That dimensions is from the center to center, but what other dimensions are from the faces. So we need to make sure we can able to add there. And then the openings, door openings, even door openings dimensions are for the opening, not for the center points, right? So we need to make sure we select the openings and then say, okay. Okay, now we have done that. Now we need to go and add doors. Okay, so what I will do first, I will start adding on the top like if you see the top row where you have two windows and two doors, I will show you how to do that. And then these doors and windows, you can able to add it. I will quickly show you what shortcuts you can use it to add that door. Okay. This is like a really simple, quick floor plan project, but don't add any dimensions to that. Okay. Now let's just go back in architecture and go in doors. Okay. So first door in your floor plan is the single flush door 36 by 84 from your right corner. Okay. So now let's just add that door. And if you see in your properties, when you go in architecture doors, if you see in the properties, there is single flush door 36 by 84 is already in your Revit project. So we can just use that. So one thing, if you notice now, like you can't just add doors anywhere in the plan. If I just hover my mouse over the walls, then only you can able to see the doors. If I just click anywhere else or just move my mouse anywhere else, I could not add the door. What does that mean? That doors are hosted family. So they need to be placed inside walls only. You cannot add doors or windows like freestanding. You need to have hosts. That means you need to have walls to add doors. Okay. Now you can see if I zoom in here, you can see the doors. You can add in anywhere you want it. It just changes the direction of the door. So I'll just click it somewhere randomly like that. And now if I go back in my floor plan here, it says 1 feet from the corner of the wall. And then there is another door at 2 feet. Okay. So 1 feet, I have added that door randomly. I will just escape it. I will select that door. And if you see the temporary dimensions appears again, I will change this door dimensions or the dimensions from the wall to 1 feet. And you see the door has moved exact the right location. Okay. If I click on that door and click the space bar, you can see the space bar changes the direction, swing, and door directions, everything. There are two arrows on the door as well that it says flip the instant hand. So you can change the door swing, and you can change this one, the vertical one, so it just goes outside or inside. So these are the arrows that you will use to change the direction, or you can use space bar. Okay. If you notice here, my walls and doors are in a single line. They don't show the wall thicknesses. So you can show that, go through that on the top. If you see the thin lines, if you remember that, if you click on that thin lines, it will show the line weights, so you can able to see the different line weights of doors and walls and furniture. So I want to make sure I have this active so you can see the difference. Okay. Now let's just see what different types of door you have to add. Okay. Now let's see the double flush panel door 72 by 84. And if you notice here in your Revit, there is no such type of door is already loaded in the Revit. So if you go back in architecture doors, if I click on that, I just see the single flush door, right? So I will make sure when I have to load any different doors, you need to go in the load family on your ribbon. Make sure you are in the doors and then go to load family. and you will click on your left-hand side bar. There is Imperial Library. Hopefully you have installed Imperial Library, and then you will go indoors, and there is a door double flush panel, and we need, let's go back here. Where was it? Okay. Double flush panel door. So we need that door to install. So door flush panel, I will select that. I will say open. And there will be so much option. If you want to select all the door type, you can select all, or you can just select the one that I have asked you to add, and that's 72 by 84. So I will just select 72 by 84. So I will not have any confusion which door I need to place in. So I will say okay. Now I can add that door right here. And if you see, it's 2 feet. If that is not 2 feet, you can just type in what number you want to add it, and you can change it. Again, the door is bigger, but you can use space bar to change directions and whatever you want to change it. Okay, but make sure that's on 2 feet, like exact on 2 feet as per the handout, because I will check that once you will submit it. And then you need to add windows. So now when you have to add windows, you need to go in windows here. And if you see windows, there are a couple of types of windows. Now let's see what type of window we need to add in there. So we need to add, there will be somewhere here, 36 by 48 fixed windows. Okay, so now we need to add 36 by 48 fixed windows that you can see it's already selected. The fixed window 36 by 84 that we will add. So first window is from this side. Maybe I'll just place randomly and I will check in my floor plan. If you click on this, it says 2 feet from this wall. Okay, and then if you see, the window placement is outside of this, so you will have some ceiling. So you need to make sure if the window is placed rightly, it should be outside. So now let me just say, if I click on my window here again, I will type in 2 feet and it moves, and the direction of window is outside. So that's the right direction. I have added the window. The next, if you see, you need to add one more window next to it, and you have the dimensions not from here, but you have dimensions from this point to this point. Why that kind of dimensions I have given? Because we can use move to, copy to copy that window on that side. Okay, so remember what's the dimension? That's 6 feet. So I will select this window, select the copy from modify tab, and I will just select this point, because from this point you have dimension given. So before I have to paste, I will just type in 6 feet, and that window will be placed exactly at the right place. Okay, now let's go to the next step, where I want you to check and notice that the top wall and the bottom wall has exact location of doors and windows. So for doing that, we don't have to again add doors and windows to that wall. You can use a new command that you have never used it. Okay, so now what you need to do, you need to select these. Because of recording, I can't see the top. Okay. So now you need to select these, and we will use this mirror draw axis command. So if you notice here, what Revit tells you, that you can just copy a door or anything on the other side using mirror draw axis, because we don't have any axis drawn already. So we will use the mirror draw axis to copy that. Okay, so what I will do, I will first select these windows and doors. So when you need to add multiple selection, you need to press Control on your keyboard, and you notice that plus sign appears next to your mouse. That means that you are adding multiple selection. Okay, and then you need to click on mirror draw axis, okay, with the pencil. Once you do that, you will click on that triangle, means that you have selected the midpoint, and I will select the midpoint of that wall, so it will be appear on the other side. Now you notice you have that doors and windows place exactly at the same position. Now this side of two windows and doors you can add by yourself.